and welcome to RMU Live. I'm Sonu Babu.
And I'm John Blinn. Happy Monday, everyone. Today is Monday, February 17th, 2020. Today is President's Day, and many Americans are off to honor the holiday. The federal holiday takes place on the third Monday in February. President's Day occurs during the birth month of two of the country's most prominent presidents, George Washington and Abraham Lincoln. Throughout the U.S., communities and organizations hold public ceremonies to commemorate the day. And now, in honor of President's Day, a little presidential trivia. 3 U.S. presidents died on July 4th. They are John Adams, James Monroe, and Thomas Jefferson.
A man was found dead Sunday night in his Baldwin home. 28-year-old Jeremy Dental was found to be shot once and was using a messaging app before his death. His death was confirmed to be suspicious. And another man was killed outside of a club Sunday night in Braddock. 39-year-old Jason Lewis was shot outside of the club around 4 a.m. Lewis was found dead at UPMC Presbyterian Hospital. Detectives are currently reviewing surveillance footage.
Police are investigating a shooting that took place in Butler early Sunday morning. Authorities say that officers responded to a home invasion call at around 6 a.m. Shortly after, they received 2 calls. One was for shots fired, and the other was for a gunshot victim. The shooting took place in a home on the 500th block of Brown Avenue. When police arrived at the scene, they found an 18-year-old man suffering from a gunshot wound to the torso. This male is currently considered a suspect in the home invasion, and his condition is currently unknown. Authorities are still searching for 2 other suspects. A 19-year-old is in critical condition after a shooting that took place in Duquesne. Officers responded to the shooting at around 12:31 p.m. on Sunday. Upon arrival, they discovered that the victim had taken himself to the hospital. Police say that the victim approached 2 males on Grant Avenue during a conversation. One of the suspects then pulled out a handgun and fired at the victim. They are expected to survive at this time, and a motive is unclear.
A man was found dead outside of a Pittsburgh church. On Sunday, a maintenance worker found an unresponsive man in the morning and called the police. The man is unidentified and in his late 30s. The cause of death is unknown.
An arrest has been made after a crash that happened in Millvale. Authorities responded to the accident at around 4:30 a.m. Monday morning. The driver of a pickup truck collided into a chiropractor's office and a neighboring home. Authorities believe that the driver called 911 on himself. Narcotics were also found in the truck. Police were called to help a 33-year-old woman remove her vehicle off of train tracks above the Monongahela River. According to the City of Duquesne Police Department, the woman was intoxicated when they arrived at the scene. The driver ended up in the rail yard near the Port Perry Railroad Bridge and began driving across it. Officers say, quote, "The vehicle did quite well considering it is not a locomotive," end quote. The car was removed at around 2:40 a.m. and the driver was arrested for driving under the influence.
And a man tried to run away from an accident scene in Moon Township after Daniel Hoyle's vehicle hydroplaned and hit concrete at Memorial Boulevard Wednesday night. He tried to run away from state troopers. Hoyle was arrested and being held in Fayette County.
5 people were shot in a Hartford County, Connecticut nightclub Sunday evening and 1 person died. Aya Galal has more from Connecticut.
Saturday night out in Hartford, turning deadly. A 28-year-old man was killed after shots were fired inside the Majestic Lounge. 4 others were rushed to Hartford Hospital.
I woke up out of my sleep because I heard some shots.
Hartford police say it all unfolded around 1:30 in the morning after a disturbance between 2 groups of people. We're told it was not a random act of violence.
It's going to be a more dangerous neighborhood than it was at one time. I'll put it to you that way.
Police say there have been problems at the nightclub in the past. That's why officers were stationed outside the South End Club. As shots rang out, people inside Majestic Lounge ran out and police rushed inside. They got in quickly and were able to provide medical aid immediately to the victims.
I was at the hospital with people last night frightened to death about their loved ones. They didn't know if my brother was dead, if my sister was dead, if my husband was dead. They don't know.
Those who live in the area are sad to see this violence in their community.
A lot of kids come this way too, Matt, especially like from school and stuff like that. Be a lot of kids coming this way. Sometime at night, they be coming from the store, whatever.
According to the nightclub's Facebook page, last night was Aquarius Latina birthday celebration night at the club. Lovey Brown lives on the 3rd floor of the Franklin Avenue building where the nightclub is. He's concerned for his son and others in the neighborhood.
And what's sad is he's immune to what's going on, and it's kind of the problem in the community is these kids are immune to death, and people become immune to death. and forget the value of life and their value of their own life.
Community leaders like Reverend Henry Brown are frustrated.
And people keep talking about solutions. The solution is that we have to do better in the community ourselves. You know, people got to start owning up to what's going on in Hartford. And this is an embarrassment, to tell you the truth.
And as people who live in the capital city mourn the loss of a life, they hope people can shift their mindsets for the sake of everyone's safety.
We have to learn to live on this earth together. Despite our differences, despite our outlooks, we have to learn to live together.
A motive for the shooting is under investigation. Reporting in Hartford, Ayag Lal, Channel 3 Eyewitness News.
Thank you, Aya. Hundreds of thousands of dollars of cocaine was found in a package being sent to Erie. Drug-sniffing dogs found $250,000 worth of cocaine from 33-year-old Jonathan Vargas. The package was flagged in Pittsburgh, and officers also found $12,000 and a gun in his house. And an Ohio proposal would introduce flashing lights to be put on horse-drawn buggies. Currently, the law requires that still lights at night and reflective tape for slow-moving vehicles are installed, but Ohio has the largest Amish population. Some communities agreed to the safety measures, and others won't add in the measures without it being state law.
The race to the White House runs through Nevada, at least this week. Early voting goes underway this weekend and caucuses are Saturday. In the meantime, Democratic candidates are stumping throughout the Silver State, trying to build support. John Lornick reports.
Long lines of caucus goers in Nevada this weekend. More than 18,000 Democrats showed up Saturday, the first day of early voting for the state's caucuses.
There's a lot of Democrats coming out to beat Donald Trump.
And some of the candidates trying to do exactly that are making their case.
Nevada, it's your turn now to decide who you want to be the leader of your party and the next president of the United States. And I'm here to audition.
Donald Trump, you're going to be a one-term president. You're out of here.
Recent national polls don't yet show a particular favorite Democratic presidential candidate in the state.
The heart of America is so much bigger than the heart of this guy in the White House.
We are ready to put the corruption behind us. Are you ready to put the tweets behind us? This is our chance.
Early voting ends Tuesday, and the caucuses are Saturday. And candidates won't let setbacks like colds keep them from a microphone.
We can make government work for the people. We just have to be willing to do it.
When you see something wrong in America at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, you show up and fight it.
President Trump is heading to Nevada this week to talk criminal justice reform with graduates who were previously incarcerated. I'm John Lawrence reporting.
Thank you, John, and we'll now toss it over to Scott McDaniel, who has a quick look at our weather.
How's it looking up?
All right, well, thank you, John. Well, as you can see out here, we definitely got some very nice, almost like early spring weather we have out here. It is very, very nice. We got some nice sun. Got some clouds out here, but otherwise we got some very nice weather indeed. Definitely getting that early spring, like Punxsutawney Phil predicted so many weeks ago. So now on to your forecast for today. We are looking at partly cloudy conditions with a high of 45 degrees and a low of 39 degrees. Humidity at 66% with a 0% chance of precipitation. Be sure to tune in later in the broadcast for my hourly forecast, tomorrow's forecast, and my 5-day forecast. For now, we're going to toss it back to John and Sonu at the desk.
Thank you, Scott. Stay tuned to RMU-TV for a host of great programming. Mondays at 1, get your news fix with RMU Live. Wednesdays is a Jimmy Kimmel-esque show with an RMU twist with RMU Kidding Me. Keep in touch with the latest in Robert Morris sports with Colonial Sports Center Thursdays at 9:30. And new this year is RMU Focus Fridays at 1, focusing on everything Bobby Moe. Streaming live on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter.
After the break, Nate Breisinger is back to talk about RMU sports.
And the brother of a former Pittsburgh Steeler is facing murder charges. Stay tuned.
A little bit like, Nia, I don't know what you're doing, but your future is more important. She's my strength. It takes a village to help somebody get their diploma. It changes your whole life.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
See on page 4 that the projections need to be blood. Next Thursday?
Seriously? Thursday? Can't do that.
This is really inconvenient.
I have yoga that day.
I have no time for this.
So,
I can't do Thursday, but I can do Friday.
Disasters don't plan ahead. You can. Talk to your loved ones about how you're going to be ready in an emergency. Don't wait. Communicate.
What to expect when you're expecting
Like here.
a teenager.
Today, I'm going to show you how to teen-proof your home. First step, hide the car keys. Preferably somewhere they would never look. Challenges will come up. Be ready for them. Hi, honey.
Ready for the... Mom, you don't use mannequins in the mannequin challenge.
You don't have to know it all to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
Home fire drills give your family a plan of action. In a home fire, you may have less than 2 minutes to get out. So when you drill, show everyone 2 ways out of the house, pick a safe meeting spot, and get there in under 2 minutes. Then practice home fire drills at least twice a year. You can even make them fun. So everyone knows the sound and exactly what to do when they hear a smoke alarm. Go to ready.gov/fire drill and learn how to prepare your family for home fires.
Welcome back. Founder of the app Thrill Hop will be a guest speaker at RMU, and Elijah Carrington will speak at the Wheatley Atrium on Wednesday at noon, hosting a masterclass about his design consultancy firm and the development of Thrill Hop.
Award-winning director and cinematographer Brad Grimm will be visiting Robert Morris University on Thursday, February 20th at 12:30 p.m. The former RMU student was the first university film student in 30 years to win both the College Television Awards and the National Internship from the Academy of Television Arts and Sciences. The event is set to take place in the SIHSS Atrium in the Wheatley Center.
Media arts professor Christine Holtz has photography in the Carnegie Museum of Art's Forum series. The group exhibition features the topic of climate change. The exhibition is now open on February 20th.
A former University of Wisconsin football player and brother of former Pittsburgh Steeler has surrendered to Chicago police in connection with the deaths of 2 people. 33-year-old Marcus Randall L. has been charged with 2 counts of first-degree intentional homicide. Randall L. is suspected of killing 30-year-old Sierra Winchester and 27-year-old Brittany McAdory, who suffered multiple gunshot wounds before dying in the hospital. We're now going to toss it over to Nathan Brysinger with the latest on your Pittsburgh sports. Nathan, what do you have for us?
Thanks, John. The Pittsburgh Penguins had another busy week as they are amid a 4-game homestand. In their first 3 games, they have taken 5 out of 6 possible points. In the first game, the Pens fell in overtime 2-1 to the Tampa Bay Lightning. However, on Friday, they bounced back and beat the Montreal Canadiens 4-1. Newly acquired Jason Zucker netted his first 2 goals in a Penguins jersey. Finally, on Sunday, the Pens dominated the Detroit Red Wings with a 5-1 victory. Patrick Hornquist recorded 2 goals as his 3rd goal was changed back to Sam Lafferty and robbing him of a hat-trick on the evening. The Pens currently sit 1 point behind the Washington Capitals in the Metropolitan Division with 78 points. The Pens return to the ice tomorrow night to take on the Toronto Maple Leafs at PPG Paints Arena. In other sports news, this year's Daytona 500 was postponed yesterday due to a lengthy delay caused by poor weather conditions. The race was finally moved to kick off at 4:05 today. Kyle Busch and Denny Hamlin are co-favorites to win this year's race. Hopefully it is another exciting edition of the Great American Race. That is all the sports news I have for now. Let's send it back over to the desk.
Thank you, Nathan. Coming up after the break, research explains that student discipline may not have the effect that teachers hope for. Stay tuned.
I was physically at school, but my mind wasn't at school. I had problems at home. That's when I met Narnese. She started helping me a little bit, like, Nia, I don't know what you're doing, but your future is more important. She's my strength. It takes a village to help somebody get their diploma. It changes your whole life.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
See on page 4 that the projections need to be blood. Next Thursday?
Seriously? Thursday? can't do that.
This is really inconvenient.
I have yoga that day.
I have no time for this.
So.
I can't do Thursday, but I can do Friday.
Disasters don't plan ahead. You can. Talk to your loved ones about how you're going to be ready in an emergency. Don't wait. Communicate.
What to expect when you're expecting.
Like here.
A teenager.
Today, I'm going to show you how to team-proof your home. First step, hide the car keys. Preferably somewhere they would never look. Challenges will come up. Be ready for them. Hi, honey.
I'm ready for the... Mom, you don't use mannequins in the mannequin challenge.
You don't have to know it all to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
Home fire drills give your family a plan of action. In a home fire, you may have less than 2 minutes to get out. So when you drill, show everyone 2 ways out of the house, pick a safe meeting spot, and get there in under 2 minutes. Then practice home fire drills at least twice a year. You can even make them fun. So everyone knows the sound and exactly what to do when they hear a smoke alarm. Go to ready.gov/firedrill and learn how to prepare your family for home fires.
Welcome back to RMU Live. The Belle Vernon community came together to hold a fundraiser for a paramedic who died while responding to a crash. In January, Matthew Smelser was hit by another car on I-70. His friends and family gathered at Haas's Steak and Sea House to remember him. A percentage of the checks goes towards the family.
Fears of coronavirus left thousands of passengers stranded aboard a cruise ship quarantined in Japan. After weeks of waiting, some 400 Americans aboard the Diamond Princess are finally headed home. But, as David Daniels reports, the evacuees face a mandatory quarantine once they're stateside.
The buses are starting to line up.
Americans aboard the Diamond Princess cruise ship are on their way back to the U.S. Docked off the Japanese port city of Yokohama since February 3rd, thousands of passengers remained on board as health officials confirmed more than 350 cases of coronavirus, the largest concentration of cases outside mainland China.
They are here to take us away.
From the balconies of their cabins, passengers watched as teams in full-body suits boarded the ship to escort them off one by one.
Sometime after 6 is when you're going to start disembarking from this.
Some 400 Americans loaded into buses destined for Tokyo, where 2 planes chartered by the U.S. government waited to bring them home. While the Diamond Princess cruise ship is finally behind them, it's not the end of the journey for those Americans headed home. Both flights are destined for U.S. Air Force bases, one in California, the other in Texas. Once they arrive, passengers face a mandatory 2-week quarantine.
Are we for sure going to be quarantined for 14 days?
Yes.
I didn't like that answer.
The Department of Health and Human Services, along with the CDC, will monitor evacuees for symptoms of coronavirus. Anyone who tests positive or exhibits symptoms will be transferred for further evaluation and treatment. I'm David Daniel reporting.
Thank you, David. Teachers who punish students in class may not get the good behavior they're seeking, a new study suggests. Mandy Gaither with more in today's Health Minute.
Praise instead of punishment in the classroom. A new study suggests that is what will make elementary students stay more focused on their schoolwork and lessons. Researchers spent 3 years counting teacher praise and reprimands in more than 150 classrooms in 19 U.S. elementary schools. In half of those classrooms, teachers were told to teach as they typically did. In the other half, teachers were required to follow a behavioral intervention program in which teachers first teach children social skills through repetition, discussion, and role play. The teachers then formed student teams, praising the students with a verbal indication of approval when they followed those good social behaviors. The lead author of the research published in the journal Educational Psychology says, as elementary teachers' praise over punishment ratio increases, so does on-task behavior. He says the more a teacher praised and the less they scolded, the better focused students were on their lessons. Those who provided the most praise saw up to 30% more positive student behavior. For today's Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
Thank you, Mandy. To get even more RMU-related content, be sure to tune in to RMU Radio. You can listen live with the Radio FX app or follow RMU Century Media on Podbean for the latest podcast talking sports, music, movies, and news.
And coming up, Nate Breisinger will be in the studio for the latest on RMU Sports. Stay tuned.
Awkward. I'm the awkward silence. You try to avoid me, then there I am again. But an awkward silence can be a great thing, like Kelly here is about to demonstrate.
You haven't really been yourself lately. Are you okay?
Find out how you can help a friend with their mental health at seizetheawkward.org.
Because of you, I felt hopeless.
I know it was a joke, but it still hurt me.
Because of you, I felt wanted and not alone in this world.
Because you said hi to me on the first day of school, I felt included and I knew that I was going to be okay.
Okay, Dad. 1, 2, 3. You saved me. Dad?
Are you okay?
I'm fine, dear.
Your hero needs you now, and AARP is here to help. Find the care guides you need at aarp.org/caregiving.
What are you doing in there?
What's that?
I wouldn't do that. What are you doing? What are you looking for?
Welcome back to RMU Live. Nate Breisinger is back in the studio for RMU Sports. Nate, what do you have for us?
Thanks, Sonu. The men's and women's basketball team hosted the Fairleigh Dickinson Knights on Saturday in a doubleheader affair. The men's team could not maintain a lead and would lose this one 72-71 in the final seconds. A late no call for either blocking foul or a defensive charge would be fatal for the Colonials. The team now sits with an 11-3 record in the NEC Conference. As for the women's team, they continued their unbeaten stretch in NEC play with a victory over the Knights by a final score of 53-35. It was all Nneka Ezigbo on her senior day as she finished with 26 points, 7 rebounds, and 3 steals. The team travels tonight to Loretto, PA, as they take on St. Francis for a 7 p.m. tip-off. Next, the women's hockey team traveled up north to take on the Mercyhurst Lakers in a 2-game set this weekend. In the first game, the Colonials would fall 5-3. However, in the second game, the Colonials were able to grab 1 point as they tied the Lakers 5-5. On the weekend, J.C. Geber paced the team with 5 points, while Natalie Marcuzzi had a nice weekend, recording 2 goals as well as 2 assists. The Colonials now sit 1 point behind Mercyhurst in the CHA standings. As for the men's hockey team, they traveled to Massachusetts to take on Holy Cross. The team would fall 5-3 in the first game, as Jake Coleman and Justin Adamo both registered in a goal and an assist. In the second game, however, the Colonials would change their fate with a 4-2 victory. Sophomore Reed Cooper recorded his first career win in net as he made 29 saves. The team takes on Canisius College next weekend in a home-and-home series. As the hockey teams are wrapping up their regular seasons, men's lacrosse and women's lacrosse are just beginning their seasons. In their first regular season game, the Colonials dominated Canisius, winning 22-10. As for the men's, Ryan Smith had an outstanding day as he scored 8 goals as well as 2 assists, while Austin Popovich registered 5 goals in the win. The team will take the field next when they play Jacksonville University on Sunday. As for the women's lacrosse team, they hosted Kent State and were victorious 18-7. Mackenzie and Melody Gandy combined for 7 goals in their win as the team improves to 1-1 on the season. RMU takes on Akron next Friday. As for the sports, that's all I have to report for you guys. Back over to the desk.
Thank you, Nathan. Coming up after the break, Scott McDaniel is here to give us a full look at the weather. Stay tuned.
There's so many rewards in life. You coming into our home was one of the greatest rewards we could have ever had.
You know, it took 20 years, and I got my third child, who was 17 at the time.
It's so cool to watch the adult that you've become, and you really have done as much for us as you think we've done for you.
It's a beautiful day out here. Sunny today with light breezes, giving way to clouds in the afternoon. We could see some light precipitation to moderate precipitation later on, followed by powerful storm-like conditions. 70-mile-per-hour winds are expected. Authorities are asking everyone, stay indoors. Come on, that's it. Let's go.
I'll never forget the day our landlord called and said, read your lease. No pets allowed. My owner tells him my dog ate the lease, but that didn't work. And now I'm stuck in a shelter. But this pit bull is ready for a new crib. I'm loving, loyal, and play well with others. So don't be intimidated by all my muscles, because the biggest one I have is my heart. That's right, I said it.
Sometimes we can do things that exclude others.
You're still talking to your friend? It's complicated.
I think he went back in. We gotta go get him.
Welcome to Jumanji! Even the smallest words and actions can have a big effect on someone. You have the skills. Because of you, someone's entire day, their year, or their life can change.
Remember, the future is in your hands.
Visit becauseofyou.org to learn more.
Totally, let's do it.
Welcome back to RMU Live. Mississippi is bracing for what's likely to be historic flooding in a major metropolitan area. Jackson residents are fleeing their homes as the Pearl River continues to rise. It's just east of downtown, and it could crest at about 38 feet today. That would put some homes under 6 feet of water. Mississippi Governor Tate Reeves says officials are preparing to respond if that happens.
In the last 24 hours, there have been new developments as floodwater has continued to rise at the Pearl River as well as throughout central Mississippi. Since declaring the state of emergency yesterday, MEMA, MDOT, our state and local law enforcement, and other state agencies have been working day and night to prepare our state resources to aid in our storm response efforts.
Law enforcement officers have been going door to door in the expected flooding zone. They're asking more than 500 people to evacuate.
And Scott, it looks really nice outside, but how is that going to hold up? Can you tell us more?
Why, yes, I can, Sonu. As you can see for today's forecast, we have some partly cloudy conditions with a high of 45 and a low of 39 degrees, with a humidity of 66% and a precipitation of 0. Definitely want to take advantage of this sort of winter heat wave, I would call it, I guess. Now moving on to the hourly forecast, we're going to be taking a look at 3 p.m., which is going to be, once again, partly cloudy conditions at a high of 45 degrees. 6 p.m., we will be getting to full clouds at 40 degrees. 9 p.m., we will be keeping the same conditions, clouds and 40 degrees. Now looking at tomorrow's forecast. Here we are. We are looking at rainy conditions with a high of 48 degrees and a low of 25. Humidity will be 82 with a chance of precipitation of 60%. Now looking at our 5-day forecast here. All right, now there we go. Wednesday we're going to be looking at partly cloudy conditions with a high of 35 and a low of 20. Thursday we will also have those partly cloudy conditions with a high of 27 and a low of 14. Friday looking really crispy there with a high of 314. Actually, I'm sure that's supposed to be 34 degrees with sunny conditions and a low of 18 degrees. Saturday, we have partly cloudy conditions with a high of 43 degrees and a low of 26 degrees. Sunday, we are going back to those partly cloudy conditions once again with a high of 46 degrees and a low of 32. Thank you for joining me for this RMU weather forecast. For now, we're going to toss it back to John and Sonu.
Thank you, Scott. And for all updates on RMU sports, news, and arts and entertainment, head over to rmucenturymedia.com for the latest student-run RMU news. And thank you for spending your Monday afternoon with us. We will see you next week.